We are officially 100 days away from graduation, which means that I have to figure out my life and figure out what my big girl job is going to be again. But we're not going to stress because today we are hanging out with Apple. Yes, you heard that right, Apple. As a finance girly by trade, I've never thought about working in tech before business school. But one of the beautiful things about being an MBA is that I have been able to explore things like that. Last semester, I took a class called product management. This semester, I'm taking another class called building an MVP with AI. So I was super excited today to be invited to a coding workshop by Apple. Let me tell you guys though, coding is no joke, but we'll get to that a little bit later. First, I have to get to class to be an actual MBA student. First stop of the day was coffee, of course. You guys know I usually do my ice, but today I was feeling like a cortado, so I stopped by Joe's on my way to my first and only class of the day, which is power and influence. Today we were talking about the different facets of power from which an individual can measure themselves on. So think about things like dominance, assertiveness, agreeableness. It was actually super insightful. Afterwards, I had a coffee chat with a classmate who reached out to me to chat about creator economy stuff, as well as my internship with HSR. Afterwards, I ran into Khadijah. I think I'm actually the most unserious when I'm around her, because why were we trying to do the Disney Channel sign? Lately, Khadijah's been into this new Arabic coffee shop that's closer to our main campus, and so she's been wanting to go between classes. Today, of course, I got dragged into it, and the coffee is good, but the pastries I love. The spinach pastry is my favorite, but I also decided to try their samosa, and it was really, really good. After coffee, it was about 2 o'clock, so I called an Uber to get me downtown to the coding workshop.
Alyssa.
I don't know about you guys, but it still amazes me how much snow is still on the ground. And then, of course, once I get to the event, there's mountains of snow I have to climb through in order to get to the sidewalk. Anyways, we arrive at this nice space that kind of looks like a loft, and we are greeted by the most gorgeous charcuterie spread. The setup was so cute with these coding stations, and they also had tripods they were handing out to all the creators in case we needed it for our content, which is super thoughtful. Before the workshop began, we got to hear from an executive at Apple, as well as the product manager who was going to be talking us through the workshop. Today, the goal was to build an MVP using Xcode, which is Apple's integrated development platform that leverages the power of AI to generate code so that you actually are coding like a developer. I want to be clear that I am the furthest thing from a developer, as you can clearly see from the confusion in my eyes, but the fact that I was able to do this should speak volumes. I will say though, it was definitely not a cakewalk, and I was 1000% confused multiple times throughout this. Luckily, they had the team on standby ready to answer any questions, because I had a lot of them, and there were definitely a few kinks along the way with the AI, but generally speaking, it got the job done. The end result was a fully functioning app that actually could be deployed to the App Store if we wanted to, which is just insane to think about how technology has evolved to this point. After the workshop, they had a showcase where we got to meet the student developers that won Apple's Swift Student Challenge last year. Their products were so impressive, and as somebody who's in the entrepreneurship space, I can say that this type of technology is definitely changing the game for non-technical founders. Thank you, Apple, so much for this invitation, and I officially have a newfound level of respect for the developers in my life.